And we are back for the top 8 of the final, week 7, season 5 Eternal Tournament Series opener. So some players here playing for that invitational invite. Others just playing because winning is fun and playing Eternal is fun. But we've got, I don't know, maybe what some would say is an unexpected bevy of decks here in the top 8. So let's break these down.
First thing to notice, no praxis, but we have our top 8 contenders. They're going to be Bradykin on Chalice, Kamado on Argenport midrange. Then we're going to have level 13 David on Cambrai midrange. We're going to have Calmandir, our own Gabe, on Huru Flyers. We have Cauldra on Chalice. We have Manu S on Owl Ramp. Then we have Tobu on Burn Queen and Earthly squeaking in the 8th with Rakano Plate.
Yep. So some players just bringing what they know, Unearthly on Rakano Plate, Tabu on Burn Queen, some of the Chalice players. But we've got some new look decks as well with Manu on this Owl Ramp and Kalimdir repping Huru Flyers, which is really an old school kind of deck, but it's got a few new tools that are help pushing it over the edge. And also just the way it attacks the metagame right now. Lots of people playing these timey mid-range decks is pretty cool, but we're going to dive into that in just a moment. Also, Kamado, Argenport midrange. I really like what they're bringing here, and hopefully we'll get to check that out as well. But the feature match for this round will be Kalimdir on this aggro Huru Flyers list against Tabu on Burn Queen. So let's break this down.
Yeah, and I know we were chatting a little bit about it. We were initially worried that Burn Queen, thinking that Burn Queen would have the upper hand, just being a little bit too aggressive for Gabe to deal with. However, since Tobo is playing kind of like the bigger version, I think Calmandir will have be able to set up a decent line of defense.
Yeah, this is going to be another game like it is quite often with burn decks. Who's getting the play? Because this flyer aggro deck was built to prey on these, as I mentioned, kind of these mid-rangey time ground stall decks, and you just vanquish the things stalling the ground, fly over. Cloud Snake gets big. Tinker Overseer, Eager Outlets get saddles up on them. Silverwing Familiar with a Hammer of Might. Shelterwing Rider, just another big sticky flyer. Every unit in this deck flies, and then you just back it up with weapons, protect, finest hour, vanquish. So it's like super straightforward deck. But if it gets on his back foot, it might have a little trouble stabilizing, because when you play a deck full of flyers, you're essentially playing a deck full of undersized units.
That is true, but I also look at cards like Eager Owlet. And the fact that Cloud Snake Saddle gets to come down on, I think, every unit in the deck. So just giving that +3/+3, correct, for units with flying?
Yep, +3/+3. It's a lot of stats.
Yeah, so I mean, so Calmandir has the ability to just get a big enough unit right out of the gate that Tobo won't actually be able to do anything with.
Right, but Tobo's also packing 3 Annihilates, 4 Torch, 3 Suffocates, so it's got plenty of tools to keep the path clear. 4 Varus Favor will help ping the Aegis off of these Silverwing Familiars and Shelterwing Riders. The Island Choice a little clunky, but at least can actually kill a Queen when it comes down, or an Impending Doom when it's swinging, or a Champion of Chaos. So still a useful tool to have here.
Also counters Obliterate.
Yeah, so this will be a really, really intriguing matchup. I love the 4 Protect here in this matchup. I think that card would be huge.
Yes.
If Kalimdir can get the right unit to stick and hold up Protect, they're going to do a lot of work. So we'll have to see how it ends up playing out. But I'm excited for this matchup for sure.
Oh, I am too. If nothing else, be able to commentate on Gabe's match. That's I feel like that is one of the better perks of this.
The other thing of note here is that Kalimdir took essentially this exact list to the TPG tournament on Thursday and won it. He took it down. So this is already, if you thought maybe that was a fluke, I didn't think it was to begin with. But it's proving itself here again, as he's top 8 of this tournament already and looking to do even more damage with it.
However, this opener for Kalimdir, I would not say the strongest.
I would not say Tobu's is the strongest either. A 4-drop and 2 5-drops with an Annihilate is not exactly what an aggressively tilted deck is looking to have. So we'll see which deck stops floundering first here.
Well, Tobu's got 4 power now, but does not have the second shadow influence to cast his Impending Doom. All right. Ooh, all right. Primal off the top for Kalamandir. That's going to open up everything. This cloud, this wild cloud snake going to get into play.
Yeah,
and immediately going to eat that Annihilate.
Tobu finds a torch to answer this Valkyrie if Kalamandir wishes to play it here. He may try and wait to find another power because this is the only unit left.
Yeah. I think you sit on this, right? Tobu hasn't done anything. Well, he's going to go ahead and play it. So,
all right, he's going to make Tobu have it, and no surprise, Tobu has it, right? You're facing down a burn deck that hasn't played a threat in the first 3 turns, and Tobu finds one because this Impending Doom wasn't castable.
Yeah, man. I don't know. You just have so much else going on in your hand. I really would have liked waiting there.
Yeah, but you also don't know when you're going to draw power, and if you do, is it going to be undepleted? Like, are you more likely to find power or another threat? These are the questions you have to weigh here if you are Kalamandir. And he ultimately decided to go with playing the Valkyrie Enforcer there and got torched, and now Tobu has an Oni Ronin.
Yeah, well, there's a 4th power for Kalamandir. Not gonna do a whole lot. Oh, and Tobu gets a second shadow influence in order to be able to play that Impending Doom.
Yep, so Kalamandir has an island choice for the Impending Doom when it finally swings, but in the meantime isn't doing anything else as these weapons don't have a unit to go on, and the Protect has nothing to protect right now, and the Finest Hours can only go on his opponent's unit.
Yeah, but by using this favor here, that's going to allow Tobu to fire off both of those obliterates in the next couple turns without any worry. I mean, like the Protect is going to block one of them, but he's still taking 6 in the ground. Oh, well, there's a Vanquish.
All right, well, yep, this Argent-Born Instigator's in Vanquish range thanks to Oni Ronin, so Vanquish comes down. Kalamandir still hoping to find a unit that he can then saddle up. The problem is Tobu's just drawing more things that are getting Warcry as an Doom. Finds his way to the battlefield, and 2 obliterates still lurking in here.
Yeah, wow. And that 6/6 Impending Doom is gonna be pretty rough. You could Finest Hour, double Finest Hour the Impending Doom. But that's still not lethal this turn, never mind.
Yeah, Kalamandir is pretty dead here, I would say. Handful of Protects and Finest Hours and Weapons not gonna get it done.
He runs Harshal, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He just has to draw power in Harshal here, and I guess Kalamandir will use some Finest Hours to go into the negatives here. That'll be that. Spreading the love.
Yeah, I'm fine with this.
So this is best of 5. We won't be moving to sideboards just yet. We've got another game before we get to do that. So the players will ready up rather quickly if they remember the rules, and we'll get back to the action real quick. So Tabu had the slow start, but had the answers to Kalamandir's 2 threats that he drew all game. And Protect and Finest Hours, hard for them to do their job if all the units are already.
All right, I'm looking at the boards here. Copperhall Bailiff seems... actually, I don't know, because we're not really seeing the tokens build of Burn Queen.
I still like the Bailiff once we do move sideboards. I could see that coming in. The Permafrost attacks well against Impending Doom, Champion Chaos.
But as
iReNGee.
Yeah, and as I don't think we went over it, but the top 8 is actually best of 5, so they're going to be playing another pre-board game before they move on. Yeah,
that is correct. Players are aware of that, and Tobu is looking at a hand with only 1 threat, but Double Torch seems real nice against this Flyers deck. While Kalamandir on the draw, not happy about that. Certainly do not want to be on the draw against this burn list, but I don't even know if you want to keep this.
I think you have to ship it back. I think there's just way too many things that can go wrong with this hand, and even if everything was going to go right on this hand, I still don't know if it's good enough to beat an average draw by Tobu.
Yeah, I expect Columdier will ship this. It looks like they're waiting for us to give them the go ahead. They don't need that. Come on, let's get going. And there we go. Columdier hits the redraw. Not too surprised there. And Tobu keeps his. And jeez.
Yeah, this is a thing.
Yeah. This is,
well,
yeah.
Maybe. All right. Well, there's a non-monument power. Now we just need a green source or a justice source off the top, and we'll be fine. Easy peasy,
yeah, except for that
squeezy.
whole thing where Tobu's hand is double torch and is going to ruin Columdier's life.
We're going to ignore that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like an actual line, and it might end up happening this way anyway, is waiting until you get to 4 power.
Yeah, so Wild Cloud Snake comes down. It's a 1-1. It dies to Vera's favor, which by opting to do that, Tabu can't play Champion of Chaos, but values turning Vera's favor into a removal spell more.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and especially because like you just saw how potent it was when your opponent had no units the entire time. Their entire hand was full of dead things. So to be able to take that option there, I think is well worth it.
Yeah, turns out it's hard for the Flyers deck to kill you if they have no units. Tobu opting to take that line of thought here. And now gets to jam 2 units down with both Champion of Chaos and Pyro Knight. Or opts to just hold up Torch.
Oh, all right. Well, there's a Justice Sigil. You'll be able to fire off the Vanquish at least. And we're sitting at 2 war cries right now, right?
Yeah, but they're being used up on these units. I don't know if I like holding up Torch there from Tabu. Like, I think I just play a unit. Like, your opponent's either going to play a unit and hold up Finest Hour Protect, so your Singleton Torch doesn't matter, or, like, they don't, and then you just get to Torch on your next. Regardless, Tobu's curving out with an army of 2-1s and 3-2s, and Columdier's super on the back foot here, but finds a Justice Sigil. That's a big deal, because now the Shelter Wing Rider can come down, and it can turn into an 0-4, but it can still block regardless.
Well, he will be able to just go ahead and kill it and get it out of the way.
But he'll kill it with a torch at some point. He's got to decide if he wants to double torch it or swing and torch.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going to opt to swing it.
And we'll see where Gabe blocks. All right, well, by doing this, he's actually letting more damage get through. Yeah, we're going to see the torch come down.
Tobu wisely torching before damage so the overwhelm gets through.
Yep.
With little things that can, right? And now Tinker Overseer will come down and get big and buff as a 5/5 and get answered.
Immediately.
So this is kind of going how I was thinking it would when we initially spoke before the matchup, where I was like, Calendar needs to make these units bigger and then also has to protect them, and Tobu's deck just has all this removal, and that's what's happening, right? 1 drops come down, backed up by removal, and just go through these 2 and 3 drops. But we'll see if the post board helps even this matchup up a little bit and maybe gets Calendar some better draws. Copperhall Bailiff, as we alluded to earlier, is going to be a big deal here against a deck featuring Grenadin drones and stuff, unless Tobu tries to next level this. But I think Tobu wants to keep low to the ground. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And we are seeing those Copperhall Bailiffs come in for Gabe here. I'm trying to see what else he grabbed out of the board. It looks like all the
Permafrost and Bailiff are.
Yeah, it was.
Permafrost, Bailiff, it looks like Finest Hours.
Yeah, and I thought Bring Down might be worth bringing in.
No.
No. You don't think so?
Your opponent only, Impending Doom and Soulfire Drake at the top of the turf, and it does nothing early.
You get a silence off of it, too.
Yeah, but who cares if you're turning a 5/3 into a 3? That's just not worth a card slot, I think, post-board. When you're already bringing in more removal in the form of Permafrost, right? You don't want to have all removal, or then you can't kill you.
That's true, yep.
So
that's fair.
I think it's fine to not bring that card in. It might have its spot in certain matchups, but I think the fact it can't even kill any of your opponent's early drops is only the top end. And the top end is just big flyers, and if that's causing an issue,
something probably went wrong, or way more wrong earlier. Yeah.
I think the extra Annihilate comes in. That's kind of a no-brainer. I don't know if anything else comes in. I see him currently at 81 cards, like still has the Ruin in. I think you cut the Ruin.
Yeah, and it also doesn't. It looks like he wants to keep the Cabal Countesses in as well. I believe the Madness has already got cut.
Yeah, the Countess does help you lower your curve, but again, I really think you mostly just run it back if you're Tobu. The only thing I'd look to do is basically bring in that extra Annihilate. But keep the drones, keep the Ronins, keep it low, keep it fast.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like the Countesses seem like they might be okay, but not. Yeah, I don't know what you're cutting for that then.
I think here you just need to emphasize the speed of your deck. You can get cute and realize, like, I guess because you realize your opponent's almost certainly bringing in Bailiff, you just cut the Grenadin drones and go slower as well. Like, just accept that your opponent's doing that. So it's like, okay, why try and fight against that? And that's what we're seeing Tabu do here as the Grenadin drones and the assembly lines are getting cut, and instead going for a larger singular and better.
And he still has the runes in. It looked like he had there. Oh, okay, maybe.
So Countess makes the cut. All of the 1/1s come out, but it's not like this is magically going to make Copperall Bailiff a bad. There's still 2/1s that'll shrink in the Argenport Instigators, and it's still a 2/3.
Also pops. Well, it is completely irrelevant for the Aegis. All right.
Yeah, it does pop Aegis.
I'm glad you knew where I was going.
Burn Queen, not known for its Aegis.
Yeah, a lot of geez.
So here we are at the redraw stage. Tobu ships his hand right away. Just didn't have any early threats.
It seems like both players have acceptable hands.
Yeah. And Kalimdor finds that second primal source plus the fourth source of power. So now Kalimdor can cast everything in his deck this game. That's not going to be an issue. And Tabu, man, one drop with the Queen Obliterate backup. That's sounding good to me.
All right, so you're gonna play Owlet here. I wonder if you trade off the Tinker Overseer, but I probably not.
So Owlet hero block and take some damage, but survive. And Kalimdor's probably going to get the Bailiff down here, shrink these 2 units down to size. Not too concerned about getting in with the Owlet just yet.
No, I think this is perfectly fine because next turn you get to play.
Now this Queen does
Wild Cloud Snake into the Tinker Overseer.
Yeah, and because this Queen does a lot less, I think Tabu's going to opt to play the Impending Doom here, and then follow it up with Queen or Obliterate next. Yep. Where maybe before it was a debate, but now that these Pyro Knights only become 2/1s when you play Queen, it's just not a situation.
Yeah, not nearly as impressive. Still gets blocked by the Copperhall Bailiffs. So,
Shelterwing Rider, a nice draw here too, but Kalimdor opting to still go with the go wide plan here, or maybe hold up Protect. Although I don't think you have that much worth. I think you'd rather save that for once you get the.
Because next turn, if he draws a power, then he can leave Protect, and either play the Storm or the Shelter Wing or the Hammer Might. Probably gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say you probably play the Hammer Might, right?
Next turn, I mean, you can't be thinking about that too much until you know what Tobu's doing and what you draw. But Tobu's opting to go with the Queen to push through this Impending Doom rather than obliterating one of the flyers. And swinging in with the Queenie as well, leaving up that 1 power, maybe making Kalimdor think about what kind of block he wants to do, what gets blown out by what. Maybe thinking about even chumping here, it looks I'm Kalimdor. I would think about putting my 2/3 and my 3/3 in front of that.
Yeah.
But opts to not do that and draws an undepleted power. So now he can get either the Rider or the Hammer down and goes with the Rider and starts to get a counter race here as his opponent's going to start ultimating units and obliterating things. He doesn't know about the obliterates, but it still needs to kill Burn, right? You can't just sit around and hope to not die. You've got to kill them before they kill you.
Oh, 100%. But I mean, I'm trying to... So we get in, he can swing there, he trades that off. If he swings out, probably blocks there, he gets in 2. I'm trying to see if we can get him down any lower just to rapid fire those obliterates, or if it made sense to shoot them off in the next couple of turns. But it looks like you're going to want to sit on them for a little bit.
Tabu deciding, does he want to obliterate and turn this into an 0-4 so that is Pending Doom safer? Kalimdor is representing a protect or a finest hour here.
Yeah.
Tobu could also ultimate these Pyro Knights, though, and start turning them into, 5/5s would be what they are. And that's a pretty real card here.
Yeah, I think that's... I think that's the line that I prefer.
Yeah.
And then that way you can lead back some of your blockers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Impending Doom being flying is normally nice, but as far as being aggressive, it doesn't actually matter here because your opponent's units all also fly. It only actually matters that it's flying if you're planning on using a defense. So these 5/5 overwhelms are just as valuable as a 5/5 flyer here. And yeah, Tabu's really thinking about what he wants to do here. Opting to go for the obliterate on the tooth.
Interesting.
Kalimdor opts to block it. All right. The 2/3 is valuable as a blocker for this 3/2, and it blocks 3 damage from the obliterate. So
it's true.
Yep. And,
yeah, it's still
when you've got 4 protects in your deck, I guess you can just bank finding more. And yeah, now Tabu just passes.
Oh wow. I kind of like the Valkyrie Enforcer, yeah.
Yeah, get one of those Pyro Knights shut down. Oh, clear out the skies and just try and win right here.
Yeah.
This is good.
Just go at it.
You're at 17. I mean, Tobu can either
only
ultimate or obliterate, and excellent.
Excellent. And you still had 2 blockers on the ground as well. So
wow, Cloud Snake becoming a 4/4, Shelter Wing Rider being a 5/4. That's a lot of damage. And as we spoke about, the key to beating Burn is to kill him, right? Can't sit around and wait for those obliterates to hit your face. And Tobu scooped up before he could even activate a Pyro Knight or use that last obliterate. And that's a key thing in this matchup is who's going to get the kill first. It's always got to think about the race.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. So what do you think? What did Kalimdor take out for in order to get in this Copper Hallway list in the Permafrost? Because
I believe we saw the Finest Hours come out.
Yeah, we did.
The Finest Hours just came out. It's going to let the weapons be the buffs. And then I'm not sure what came in for the Permafrost. Maybe he just cut the Vanquishes and just wanted to keep his removal lean, or the Island's Choice are maybe just too expensive to hold up.
I was thinking the Island's Choice.
Like Island's Choice are basically, they can be Vanquish or Protect, but they're just so much more expensive, and every point of power costs.
Yeah. Being able to having that up, especially when you're trying to play as many units to the board at the same time, definitely a little bit of a cost. All right, so we do see a Pyro Knight coming down from Tobu, and we'll see what Gabe is going to be doing here. We're going to see a Wild Cloud Snake come down from Kalimdor. That's not going to be too terrible, right? Because we're going to have Silverwing Familiar. We're going to be able to play out of Gabe next turn. That's going to make it a 2/2. And then the next turn, the Cloud Snake is going to become a 2/2. Then the turn after that, they'll be able to play the Tinkerer Overseer. Looking over at Tobu's hand, I have to imagine, okay, so he is just going to opt to Annihilate on the Cloud Snake. He's going to get that out of the way. And no more buffs you have to worry there. Oh, all right. And there is a Shelter Wing Rider. And that's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be able to come down next turn. It's gonna gum up the board quite a bit. The question is here. Okay, so Tobu's
Kalimdor opts to not block that 2/1 there. Probably slam the 5/4 down. Yep, there's the 5/4, which gets answered by a 4/1 into Queen, which be a lot of damage.
Yeah, and then to be able to follow it up the next turn with that Soulfire Drake.
Yeah,
not bad.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Kalimdor. He doesn't know how bad it's looking, but he already knows he's taking at least 9 here because he's not going to opt to chump block with this Shelter Wing Rider, and maybe regretting swinging with that 2/2.
Yeah, well, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get one another 4/4 blocker.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
this is a tough spot for Column. You want to be attacking Burn. You
I
also are at 12 and don't want to die.
Yeah, I don't think you can attack here, even with playing other 4-4. Granted, I'm also working with obviously more information, but even if I wasn't, let's see, he wants to attack with his Shelter Wing Rider, so it's still meaning at least 5 damage is getting through next turn.
Yeah, this is a rough spot for Column. Even without knowing the dragon that's lurking in Tobu's hand, he knew that even if their hand was all power, this Countess could get activated soon, this Pyro Knight could get activated soon. That was already going to be a lot of pressure for the 12 health that he only has remaining. Tobu now debating, like, a Dragoneer just trades with a 2-2, but gives him one less blocker. But ultimating this Cabal Countess means they don't have any good blocks. They have to start chumping, which makes the dragon more likely to get through in future.
Yeah, but I also don't mind just getting even the Attuned effect from...
The Attuned effect's nice, but the threats you have on board are already good enough. It's not like you need to worry about the threats coming.
And he has to jump here. Yeah.
You don't have to, but I think it's a reasonable thing to do. With the protected hand, it's not like getting into obliterate range is going to kill you.
Yeah.
But still a rough spot. Another Shelter Wing Rider is a grab here. But again, like, I think Column kind of wants to keep chipping in for 5. It might actually chip in for 4, not to keep the 5/4s back because they block these ultimated Pyro Knight better. Or you'll just sit and hope to weather this storm. But that's a lot to... Here we go. Swing with both. Make them kill you, right? This is 9 attack per turn. Your opponent's at 9. Try and live this turn. It's a tall order, but probably his best path to victory. I like this attack from Column just because you're in such a bad spot. Just make them happen.
Yeah, I agree completely. Because like that's why I was doing the math there, like about attacking with just one. I did not think it actually did anything because it just allows Tobu to start swinging in and even getting in just a few points of chip damage, especially when they still have that Drake in hand, is pretty dangerous.
Now Tobu's checking the math. Is like, all right, if I play this 5 attack charge unit and they block 6 damage, how much is the rest of this damage? All right, it's 5 plus 7. Oh, that seems good for me. And yeah, so Column was hoping the extra burn would have been in the form of an actual burn spell. Instead, it's in the form of a Soulfire Drake.
And so
that means he's dead.
And had Kalmandir had he played the Silver Wing Familiar, he would have been able to live, right?
You would have blocked the 5/2 instead of the 6/1 and gained 1 more, but taken 1 more, so it would have been the same.
Okay, he would have been a wash. Okay.
So yeah, as we kind of expected going into this, not the matchup Column was hoping for. This deck wasn't really. It had a sideboard ready for it. The 4 Bailiffs, the 4 Permafrost, Scream being ready for Stone Scar Burn, but just didn't quite work out. But still, a strong showing, top 8 for a very, very awesome day.
Very much so. Very much so.
Oh, Calendar saying he would have been at 1 if he jumped with Silver Wing instead. I don't know.
Well, that's what I thought because he ended the game at. Well, no, because like you said, yeah, you would have taken 1.
You block 1 less damage, you gain 1. Where if you block the 6/1 because it has quick draw, you wouldn't have gained. So I think he still would have been dead. But either way, Tobu
he only had the 1 blocker. Yeah.
And it looks like we have every other match still outstanding. So hopefully we can get a backup match shortly. We'll look into that. Start working on that. In the meantime, though, I think we've got a couple other things to talk about as we get ready for a backup match. Yeah, our favorite thing here, Patreon plug. How about that?
Woo!
Yeah. So if you like the Eternal Tournament series or RNGEternal.com's content, or you just love supporting the Eternal community, RNG Eternal has a Patreon set up. So you can, of course, donate to it. What does donating to it do? Well, it has all sorts of awesome goals like expanded article content, monthly Sunday tournaments, which we've been doing, which have awesome prize pools. We've recently reached that and have had a few Sunday tournaments already. Better guaranteed prize pools for the major tournaments like the Invitational in the other world championships and stuff, and so on and so forth. Just bigger and better tournaments. All the money you put into the Patreon just goes back into the tournament series and producing more content for the players that won it. So definitely recommend checking out the Patreon and donating to it. Of course, if you don't want to donate there's lots of other ways you can show your support. You can subscribe to the aReNGee Eternal channel, but even simply just following and tuning in each week is more than enough. We appreciate any little bit that you can. So now that our favorite plug is out of the way.
And remember, especially if you play in the tournament series a good bit, there are no entry fees. So why not? Why not just ship that $25 a month? Still way cheaper than one Magic tournament. Putting it out there.
Okay, so let's see here. We're still working on the backup match. Ooh, other results are coming in though. Unearthly takes down Brady Kin, so that's one Chalice deck down.
Wow.
Chalice Mirror will not be happening in the semifinals. There was an outside shot of that, but Chalice Mirror, the dream is dead, or the nightmare, depending on who you are. All right, so it looks like we're just going to take a quick break while we set up this backup.
Yeah.
And we are back in the middle of some hot Eternal action. We've got level 13 David, who we saw on his aggressive Combre list earlier, up against Caldra, who's on Chalice, the last Chalice deck standing. This is the sweet Skyward Seer utility package kind of Chalice approach. So I believe this is the final game, the decider game 5. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how the action unfolds here. We'll let the players know we're ready for them to resume and move forward.
Yeah, so I'm trying to. So we don't have a hand cam for Caldra, unfortunately. However, I don't know how to feel about this board state. Like, I can't tell who's actually winning. Like, yes would be David, but it's also turn 3, so it might be a little premature.
We're on turn 3. David's got Threats down and Stand Together up and Finest Hour up and Protect up. So this is looking like a good spot for David. Getting all of these units in under the Harsh Rule is a nice spot to be. It means next turn he can just kind of slam this Stand Together, and Caldra's going to have a difficult board to deal with. But the good news is they're all ground units. This isn't an aggressive Combre list taking to the sky. It's all very much ground.
Yeah, and with the 2 Swarovs, both of which having Overwhelm, he's going to be getting damage in even if they chump block. So I'm not, and then he's also got the Finest Hour there. So, all right, I'll join you. Yeah.
Notably, Calder's doing a lot of cool things. Like we have this Skyward Seer package, but put that in, you have to make room. And Caldra is not playing anything like Lumen Defenders or Waystone Infusers, like those units that have slightly bigger tushies to block with. There's only 3 Combre healers. So these Saras can be quite effective. In fact, there's not even any Scorpion Wasps in Kaldra's list either. So these big overwhelm units with Aegis can actually do a lot of work.
Yeah, Curator's the first thing that they'll be able to play. I guess they could fire off a Great Parliament too.
Yeah, even looking at post board, there's no big blocker Kaldra can bring in.
Yeah.
So these Seraphs will be able to do some work. David, thinking about whether or not to pull the trigger on Stand Together here, I like it. It's going to get you 2 extra damage and take out the 2/3 blocker. It's really a question of, do you then also Finest Hour, or you just let this reach you?
Yeah, I feel like maybe you just Finest Hour.
I'm going to use Stand Together here. I mean, you could get cute and not use it and make your opponent like maybe harsh rule the next turn. And that looks to be like what David's doing here, like leave it as a surprise. But I kind of just like it 2 extra. We'll see if it pays off, if Calder tries to slam the harsh rule here and David gets 3 attacks.
Oh. Well.
Attacking with 1/1/1.
All right. My guess is no harsh rule.
Nope. Skyward Seer.
All right.
Tutors up a flyer. The fun thing with Eternal is you don't have to show what you tutored up for.
No, you do not.
It's not like Magic, so
because you can't cheat in Eternal.
Yeah.
well, easily.
Definitely have 5 archive curator.
Yeah,
See now David's gonna use a stand-in. So you missed out on 2 damage.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah.
But again, the upside was maybe your opponent uses harsh rule there and you win the game. The upside was win the game. That's pretty good upside.
It's not horrible value.
Certainly not. So Skyward Seer doing its job by ganging up on this Desert Marshal. But in the meantime, David's going to get through for 8 damage here and probably slam down a Rhino.
Yeah, and I mean the Desert Marshal is at least going to be able to trade with one of them. I have to imagine it trades with the Sky Seer. Yeah. So it's not like a complete loss. You're still doing 1-for-1.
So what do you think the Sky Seer got? It didn't get a Thunderstrike Dragon because the card didn't have Echo. So is it the Rhyme Scale Draconis?
I think it's
a Curator.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Rhyme Scale. But that also might have been too slow. Like are there any good like Westwind?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, but are there any good like Westwind targets?
Ooh, okay. So Combrei Healer comes down, and I was interested to see if it would have popped an Aegis on one of these Seraphs, but instead it buffs itself and turns it into a 2. So I was interested to see what happened there. Slow! Wow! That's a spicy one.
Oh, he did get the Rhyme Scale.
And there's a harsh rule in hand for Caldra, so I imagine you slow the Draconis because that's a unit, whereas
and then you'll
the harsh
never
rule
be able
you
to
have
play it.
protect. Yeah. So all your units are protected from harsh rule. So I think you take out that 7/6 flyer that pops all your Aegis.
I don't understand the not popping an Aegis though, given what we're seeing in that hand.
Yeah, I mean the 2/5 does prevent some overwhelm damage because these are 4/5s attacking you. So he just valued that more than popping it.
I guess so, but when you have harsh rule and Rhyme Scale, like it allows you to get a basically immediate advantage the next turn, right? Because had David not played the slow, we know that there are probably 2 other power in Caldra's hand. So Caldra being able to play the Rhyme Scale next turn or the harsh rule seems, I don't know, that just seems more advantageous.
I mean, now you're killing 1 unit though and keeping 1 around, and this Rhyme Scale Draconis will presumably freeze this Reinarch, so your opponent just has a 4/5. That's manageable, right? So and you get to keep this 2/5 around with Chalice. So once we got a look at Caldra's hand, I think it made a little more where instead if he had something like Island's Choice in hand, I think we would have seen a pop.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyways, the Draconis got slowed. That costs 14 now. So what can Caldra do? Don't have any information about what they top deck, but we do know at least a Chalice and a Harsh Rule here. But a Harsh Rule leaves you dead on board. So I don't think we're going to see that either.
Yeah, so because it's also power, right? So we know all but one card.
Yeah, Cauldron just played the
Vanquish.
7th power. Vanquish was the draw for the turn, and that'll get the protect out of David. Sure. And now Cauldron again can harsh rule, but that leaves him dead on board.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it obviously would have been a much bigger blowout had Cauldron gone to pop the Aegis on the Seraph with the Vanquish, and then going for the harsh rule. But or I guess it would have actually been the same, right?
Yeah,
you would have been left with a 5/5, or you'd have the choice then of what unit would.
Yeah, no, you're just better off, even if you know about the harsh rule. Again, if they harsh rule you.
Well, I'm saying like popping the Aegis so Cauldron popping the Aegis and then playing harsh rule so that they could get rid of both units, right? The protect obviously foils that plan.
Yeah. But if you commit to that line, you just lose to the protector. Where this way you get information. Now, well, Finest Hour is a hell of a draw here because I think that's lethal.
It should be, right?
Yeah.
Unless Cauldron's playing Finest Hour somehow? No? Okay.
And David saying well played as Cauldron passes priority, and this will overwhelm over for 5. So some nice top decks there for David. The slow into Finest Hour being exactly what the doctor ordered. He'll take this match 3-2, but still, I love this list from Cauldron. It's some cool stuff, right? Ramscale Draconis making the top 8. I like that.
Yeah. I was hoping to see it played.
Yeah, no, I like that Chalice. Chalice is such just this, people may hate on it, but it is a really cool, flexible core where it's like,
it is.
Find units that I can Chalice, and Skyward Seer is another unit that you can Chalice, and you have all these random units lying around that can trigger its spark. Super cool stuff from Cauldron there. But that will tidy up the top 8 and let us move on to the top 4. So we're going to have Unearthly on Rakano Plate going up against level 13 David, which was a rematch, which will be a rematch of a round we saw earlier where David had the killer Tranquil Scholar and all of that. It was just nasty. And then Tobu on Burn Queen going up against Kamedo, who is leave on Argenport mid-range. So some Shadow versus Shadow and Justice versus Justice.
Yeah, I'm excited for this top 4, and I'm excited for this upcoming match. Because I have to
all aggressive decks essentially here. Kamedo's still playing Harsh Rule, but that's because you have revenge stuff and you're kind of justified. But everybody else is just looking to beat down. So we're going to see some fast and furious best of 5s coming up real soon. We're going to take I think maybe just a super short break, and then we'll get back into semifinals.
All right, we'll see you guys soon.